All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that focus time, our app that we're going to build now, is in focus. So we're going to make sure that it's installed in our Expo app, or you're running it on the iOS or Android tab. And we're going to make sure that our device is connected. And what we're going to do first of all, and you should always do this, always, always, always. If you're starting off with a snack, clean up the environment. So we're going to remove the card. We're going to remove the text. We don't need any of that. We're going to remove the card component. We're going to remove the asset example component. And we're going to remove some of the ubiquitous styles that we don't really need. And we're just gonna put it in a good shape, We're gonna make it simple. You can see here, our app is empty now. We're gonna delete the files we don't need because, hey, we're gonna set up an application the way that we want to set it up. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're gonna follow some good practices. And hey, if you don't want this in the way while coding, you can always just go ahead and make it bigger by doing this and escaping out and then just minimizing it. And now we have more code space. And if you're running it on your phone, well, it's just useful to do that because now you have more code space over here to do whatever you need to do. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a folder and we're going to call it source. You always want to start with a source folder. It's just a good practice. The folder structure doesn't really matter if you're just trying to get things done quick and dirty, but we're trying to teach you the best practices here. We're trying to get it as close to a production app as possible. And so we're going to start off by creating a source and a components folder. And inside of the source folder, we're going to create another folder and we're going to call it features. That's what's going to contain our features. And let's also create a folder called utils. And I accidentally dragged it at a level that I didn't want it. I had it inside of features, but I actually want it inside of source. So you can always go ahead and drag your folders to specific folders. So if I want it in source, I can drag it up to source and then it'll end up in source. So right here, I have a pretty decent setup. We always want to leave app.js at the top level. It's basically telling us, hey, this is the app. This is the thing that's pulling everything together. This is what's going to create the base of my application. This is the central point that is the glue to everything else. And whatever happens inside of Vue, well, that's what's going to create our application. So we may pull in features here. We'll see what we do. Let's put in a quick hello world. Always a great application to start with. And you can see over here, oh, hello world ends up at the top because we have no styling. So, quick padding. Let's add some padding. Let's say, 50. Quick padding update. And you can see, oh, now it ends up here because we added 50 padding to the top, left, right, and bottom. So we ended up in this little spot over here. And so you can start playing around with what's going on here, but we basically cleaned up our environment and we are ready to start building features. It's always important to take the time and figure out what folder structure you want to go with. If you just start coding, well, you're going to get things done. But then you're going to have to go back and say to yourself, hey, I really wanted to structure things this way or that way. So a little bit of thought up front never hurts. Things will never be perfect on the first try. But try to think about a way that you would like to structure things and apply it. And this is one way of applying a structure. All right, so now that we have our environment set up and ready to get a little bit deeper into the feature set, let's start adding things to this interface because all we have right now is hello world.